afternoon, everyone. I've got a treat for this is April. And so we're talking about Earth Month. So I've got three ladies with me today who are going to be able to tell you as much as you want to know about I was going to say the economy, our environment, what we can do to make it a better place, and what we should be doing. I'm going to start with you, Miss Ashley. Can you introduce yourself to everyone?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Ashley Diaz. I'm the sustainability manager for the City of Bowie, and I've been with the city about 6 years and just recently hired Erin. So it might be a good segue into Erin.
Yeah, perfect. Hi, my name is Erin Oxenford. I am the sustainability planner for the City of Bowie, and I've been with the city for about 6 months.
And I am Sue Lavera, a longtime volunteer. In fact, one of the remaining original members of the Green Team it's at least 11 years old. When I retired, I got involved, and I'm an educator, but also very concerned about the whole sustainability thing. And in fact, and maybe your questions will lead to it, but the work that I continue to do has to do with working in the schools and helping their sustainable practices. And it's all under the aegis of the City of Bowie's Green Team.
Let's talk about the sustainability of Bowie. What does that mean, Ashley?
Well, so for us, we are within the Department of Planning and Sustainability. It was just a planning department focused on old school kind of planning and zoning things. But in the last year, pushing 2 years, we've expanded to be planning and sustainability. And so now we have a division devoted to sustainability efforts. And to kind of piggyback off of the intros, in my role, I'm looking at long-term planning of sustainability efforts in the city and long-term trends and how we can link in with what the county, the state, and even the country is doing. And with Erin, she's able to hone in on the residents and the day-to-day program and interfacing with the residents, including the volunteers. And the volunteers, as Sue alluded to, is our green team. So we have the green team, and we also have an environmental advisory committee, which we don't have a representative here today, but the EAC, as it's known as, does policy work. They promote policies that they would like our city council to act on, or support or not support. And the green team is able to do a lot of that hands-on daily, well, maybe not daily, but monthly events and programs and education and outreach. So it's mainly those two volunteer teams, and then me and Erin kind of running the show in these different ways. And Erin, if you wanted to, I know she has the proper definition of sustainability ready to go. So.
Thank you. Absolutely. Erin,
Yeah, sure.
Erin, jump in here.
Yeah, of course. So when we're talking about sustainability, it's a general term that's used to just talk about development and growth, but in a more efficient way. So looking at meeting the needs of not just today, but also future generations. So that requires a balance between not only meeting environmental goals, because that's what just a lot of people commonly think of. And don't get me wrong, those are really important, but also looking at social and economic goals. So those three things, environment, social, and economic, are known as the three pillars of sustainability. And all three of those are important to be able to consider your environment healthy. So yeah, that's what we kind of look at when we're talking about
So what
sustainability.
makes a healthy environment? How do you determine? What are the factors?
So just going back to the definition of it, just looking at, this can be something like when you're looking at your environment, like, are you protecting the environment? So things like reducing waste. And then when you're looking at the economy, are you trying to promote businesses' growth in a healthy way? And when you're looking at people, are you valuing like their health and things like that? So evaluating what you're doing on, like for us on a local level, like, are we actively trying to work towards those three pillars and make sure that we're including everybody?
Definitely.
Wow, that's not only progressive, but that it's very, very difficult.
Yeah.
I thought it was, you really, because we're talking about sustainability. as opposed to just one pillar, which is what I was focusing on, which is the environmental. But you're telling me you're looking at the entire picture here, which is so much more complicated.
Yeah. Because you don't really want
Yeah.
to leave anybody out. And I think that's a common misconception, is that it's just the environment. But in reality, you can't just be looking at one aspect of it, because they all are so heavily
Interrelated.
relying on each other. Yeah.
Absolutely interrelated.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's jump in here. Tell me about the green team.
Okay, well, the Green Team was formed 11-ish years ago, and it really was as a result of the Environmental Advisory Committee, who was doing all the research and whatever. They determined that there needed to be a group that did things, not just advise the city council, but actually put some of the ideas into action. So the Green Team was created, and it's evolved over time, that now we have what we call subgroups. And each subgroup has a focus. And for instance, I chair the subgroup on green schools, and that connects with not just Bowie schools, but it's a program throughout the state of Maryland. And it's implemented through the public school system, county by county. And I can answer plenty of questions about that if you want to know more.
I do.
Okay. Well, I'll pause on that one then. Green Schools is a program created, I believe, by the Maryland Department of Education. The idea was to put into action what exists in the curriculum. It's not made to create a whole new thing, because actually activities, processes, thinking, all of that exists. But what's not happened is coordinating it, making sure that it is featured, as it were, in the daily lives within a school building, and that it affects the entire school community and consequently the community. There are requirements that must be met, that every child within a school building is involved in some way. It's very kinesthetic. The idea is that they are doing, and they have projects that are not the proverbial one and done. And this is where the sustainability definition comes in. Because if you just, pick up trash one day, that's a one and done for that day.
Right.
It's a commitment to keeping it that way. So the practices within the school buildings are that way. And yes, there's recycling. Yes, there's composting. And if you want to know more about that, Ashley and Aaron can address the composting program within part of the City of Bowie, the food scrap thing. Also there are so many different kinds of projects that schools are doing to not only earn a certification, but then to maintain it. Because every 4 years, the school has to recertify. All of the schools in Bowie are green schools. They're all certified, and they're all in different stages of recertification. And it's really pretty cool, since we have 2 special schools in Bowie with special populations that takes a little extra work. There are a lot of barriers, and one of the barriers is, and I'm going to be very frank, and I say it because I've been involved with the county doing this, is working with educators who do it's a bug. I don't want anything to do with the bug. Just squash it, get rid of it, or whatever. But we have to have people understand the purpose of that bug, and to understand that it's not just like one mosquito. Now,
Right.
I'm not sure the purpose of a mosquito, but it is food. And it's for children to understand that all these creatures interact, and it's teaching them that cycle in life that enables sustainability to happen. For instance, if you want to have monarch butterflies, which are notorious,
Beautiful.
Well, they're beautiful and they're iconic, but they're also under great demise. And part of it has to do with people poisoning their crops through the use of pesticides. So for them to understand that you're not just going to kill a butterfly, but you have to have a special plant for that butterfly to lay its egg on, and then it's food for its larva. Then it needs the shelter for it to go into chrysalis and carry on. So the education piece is not I don't want to repeat that one and done too much, but it's not left out in the atmosphere. But it's always showing the coordination of how things link together. It's a very impressive program. The schools partner with a group called MAO, which means the Maryland Association for the Environment and Outdoor Education. And there are staff county by county that facilitate this through the schools with dedicated staff. It's very impressive. The work within Bowie for my group is that we offer forums and resources for the local schools to help them with their particular projects. We've helped them with their gardens as they develop them. We've facilitated getting money to help them, or plants or tools or actually labor. So it's really very worthwhile. But, and not to belabor all this, but the Green Schools is but one of a number of subgroups on the Green team. We have one that focuses on energy. And Erin, jump in, because I'm not going to go into each of these.
Yeah, so that was a really good overview of the Green team and how the different subgroup works. And I'm actually the staff liaison to the Green team, so I get to work really closely with them and see all the amazing work that they're doing. And the one that Stu didn't get a chance to mention was the natural resources subgroup, which they do a ton of work with exactly what it sounds, our city's natural resources. So they do things like planting pollinator gardens, which we call monarch way stations. So like we were mentioning earlier, monarch butterfly is one of just many pollinators that need specific plants that we might not always think to plant in our yard. So they do a lot of work making sure that they maintain, now they have 4 actually, pollinator gardens throughout the city. They do work with invasive species control in various wooded areas throughout the city. So keeping just generally our natural resources healthy around the city. And I think the subgroups, the other thing I wanted to say about the subgroups is it kind of goes back to what we were saying right in the beginning with the different pillars of sustainability. There's so many different things you can be doing. And I think somebody might be surprised to think that we have a like health and wellness subgroup. But again, that is a component of sustainability. That social aspect, keeping our people healthy, is it's getting at a lot of different areas.
How did you get involved in this, Ashley? I mean, what prompted this interest in you?
Well, I went to undergrad for anthropology, and from there I went to graduate school for marine science because I wanted to look at the human coastal nexus and the aspects there. So I was definitely a water, not land kind of sustainability person, but I'm from Bowie. So when I came back here, I was working at EPA and I started to get more into the land side of things. And being from Bowie, it was just when this job opened up, which was initially the position Erin's in, it was a learning curve, but it was all kind of the same. I was used to learning about some of these other aspects of sustainability and environmentalism. And so it was just learning about even more of what we do on land that affects everything. So it's always kind of been an interest for me. I've always kind of been like a greenie at heart. So
I like that, a greenie. And Erin, were you also a greenie? Have you always been a greenie?
I think so. I mean, I majored in environmental science. I don't know.
Oh, geez.
I don't know how much more green I could get.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, I graduated University of Maryland last year. So, and did some work with outreach and stuff like that in my undergrad and just loved it. So when this job opened up, similar to Ashley, I thought it was a really good opportunity to keep doing what I love.
As a volunteer, what do I need to think about in terms of what can I bring and what do they need?
You really don't. There's no like prerequisite like that at all. You essentially just reach out to me. It's technically Erin now as the staff liaison, but it wouldn't matter. One of us, and we could get you to come to one of the Green Team executive committee meetings. So they have all those different subgroups, and there's a chair of each subgroup, and the chairs plus a few others who don't have a subgroup make up the executive committee, and that's the voting body. So they meet once a month. And if you were to tune into those, which conveniently they're now virtual, I mean, so, there are pros and cons, but it's even more, it seems to be more convenient for community members who are just getting interested. You don't have to like drive over to City Hall and, sit through it all. You can kind of come and go, which is nice. But you would tune in, Erin would send you the link and you would just tune in and you could hear each of the groups give an update. You could hear them go through their agendas. or through the agenda. And if you were interested, then you could reach out to any of those subgroup chairs. So if you came to the executive committee meeting and you said, I'm really interested in energy and solar panels, then we'd get you hooked up with Bob, who's the chair of that group, that kind of thing. Or if you were someone who was more interested in policy, we could get you connected with the EAC, because there are a lot of retired government workers, and it's not a requisite at all, but it just so happens that a lot of EPA and USDA and USGS retired end up being on the environmental advisory committee as well. So it just would be where your interest lies.
Sounds like fun. Okay, Erin, I'm going to turn it over to you. How do people get in contact with you if they're interested?
Yeah, sure. So again, my name is Erin Oxenford, and to get in contact with me, the best way would probably be email, which is just eoxenford@cityofbowie.org. And then my phone number is 301-809-3073. And then also the website is just www.cityofbowie.org. And on there is the city calendar, which also has everything. So like the meetings that Ashley was talking about, all of the Green Team events. So that's also a great resource if you're looking for ways to volunteer, because we post all of the public events on that calendar, and we list what you need to, if you need to have any, well, usually you don't ever need to bring anything, but we list like what you'll be doing, and if you need to register, who to contact, things like that. So it's a great way for all ages to find activities and ways to get involved.
I like that you said all ages. Having said that, I have to ask you guys one more question, because April 17th is Earth Day.
Mm-hmm.
What should we be doing?
One amazing thing that you can do on that day is come to the Green Team Earth Day celebration and movie night at Allen Pond in the city of Bowie. And at that event, there's going to be a bunch of different activities for all different ages again. There's going to be fishing demonstrations for kids, recycling education, Zumba, again, getting at all those different areas. And they're going to end the night with a movie night. So it's going to be a great event filled with like education from a bunch of different people. And yeah, if people are available, they should definitely check it out.
One of the programs that we have that you may not know about, but you may, but if you don't, it's called Adopt a Road. And so we have 15 adoptable roads in the city. Because you may have seen on the roads, the Prince George's County adopted roads or the Maryland State Highway. So we started a little program within the city, and we actually, all of the roads were spoken for previously, but we have one or two that just opened. So when that happens, and all of this information is on our website, so we can provide you the link to provide the direct link to it. But basically, if a business entity is interested, you just have to clean up the road that you adopt twice a year. And we provide the kits. So it's a rolly kit that has trash pickers and gloves and bags and vests and water bottles and stuff like that. So you take it and your group does a cleanup, and then you get a sign on the road that says this road is adopted by, the Green Team adopted one, and the EAC and the Lions Club. And so it's really nice for businesses. It's a way for them to give back to the community, but for us to give back to them and identify their good work and keep the roads clean.
This is incredible. I belong to the Prince George's County Community Services Committee. I'm a member of that. And I would love to be able to take this to them. Oh, I love this. Thank you so much. This has just been incredible, ladies. I've gotten so much information on so many different levels. I'm no longer going to talk about the environment. I'm going to talk about sustainability. Again, thank you so much for what your guys are doing. Thank you for the education that you provided me. Miss Sue, thank you for your dedication as a volunteer. And next time. Okay. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.